Like if you mess around and this kid spends his last year of eligibility or how many of years he has left, and he's still a prospect for the NFL. Well, that brings notoriety to your program, whether you're Savannah State or you're Clark or whomever.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And if things go bad, like everyone's jumping on Nick Saban because he's Nick Saban, and everyone's looking for that chink in the armor of this philosophy and this system that he's always talking about. So anytime anything, the smallest thing goes wrong, you know, like how last year was such a failure. It's like, do you realize he was still one of the last 4 teams? That Alabama was still one of the last 4 teams standing. Like, they didn't win a championship, but obviously that's where the standards are. So now, because the program is like every other program, Alabama is like every other program when it comes to kids getting in trouble. When it comes to some kid that's transferred in out of a JUCO or in this case came from Georgia, and now he's in trouble. Alabama's no different than 90% of the schools in the country. But the fact that it's Nick Saban and it's Alabama and this mystique has been built around the program, now everyone's like, uh-oh, what's going on? Is Nick losing touch? Nah. But he owes the people an apology. No, you don't. No, you don't. He just gave a kid.
Yeah, he definitely don't owe anybody an apology.
He gave a kid a chance. That's all it was. He gave a kid a chance. Yeah. It backfired.
Now, see, that's one of the things where, and I think you mentioned it yesterday when we were talking about college basketball. Like, it's one of those situations where you're in Alabama, nothing else going on, so people have nothing better to do than sit around and be like, word the hell out of Nick Saban, like, oh, Nick, you're not gonna apologize, Nick?
Oh yeah.
You done brought that boy down here and he done changed the tide.
Dude, you gotta watch this. You gotta watch this that whole press conference because that dude started getting pissed by the end. Like it's getting to the point now where like people are doing their jobs in Alabama or around the university because he does the thing that Nick Saban does where he says, "Well, I think that's all needs to be said about it," and the reporters are like, no, sir, I still got a job to do. I'm going to still ask you the same damn question I was going to ask you before you said that. When in previous times, like everybody, Emperor Nick speaks and everyone shuts up. No. Them dudes are not.
Well, because now
they're doing a job.
Okay, and the other thing is, for so long, everything has been controlled by the University of Alabama.
Right. And
like,
Nick Saban in particular.
Controlled. Right, and so the media has not gotten a hold to a lot of this stuff. But when your players start getting arrested for DUI and get pulled over for pot and get arrested for domestic violence, you really can't control those situations. Now, if the kids just get caught smoking weed, like you can control that. But when when you actually get pulled over with it, you cannot control that because it's public record. You know what I'm saying? It's public record, and it becomes public knowledge of what happened. And then, like you said, you try to find the chink in the armor of Nick Saban. And so this is the first time that I can remember that Nick Saban has been in this position. Like, he's fair game to everybody.
Well, remember there was a situation where the kids stole the credit cards and did the whole trying to get the snacks out of the machine and all that kind of stuff. And he mentioned that they have kids that are in their drug program that the media isn't privy to because of the privacy situation. But yeah, it's one of those things where I think too the professionals that are down there in Alabama, no one wants to be laughed at by the rest of the country as a professional. You know what I mean? And if they were to just stop asking him those questions, that'd be the first thing I'd be talking about today.
Right.
Like, what a bunch of P words. What a bunch of P words. Because he says he's done talking about it, you ain't going to do your gig or whatever. Right. I'm going to ask you even more questions now because now you trying to move on a little bit too fast, homeboy. Slow down. Slow down. My tape recorder still got plenty of time on it. I want to know everything. And that's what they did. They kept on asking him questions, and he started getting more and more and more perturbed about it. And I was like, good, rattle this dude. Because that whole thing that goes on in college football with these dudes are these emperors and these kings of these kingdoms, I'm cool. Miss me with it. Something bad happened, man. And I'm not saying it's his fault at all. Like I said, I don't think he owes anybody an apology. I think it's an unfortunate situation that happened for everyone involved. But for him to be like, oh, I'm sorry I did this you ain't do nothing to the university. Because if that kid had not choked this girl out and he led you guys to a national championship, everybody would be all right. They'd be all right with it.
It was the best pickup. It was the best pickup their family in 2 years.
You see what I'm saying? They'd be all right with the domestic violence at the Georgia.
He's still
That
the
wouldn't
game.
matter
Yeah,
anymore.
he's still the game. Yeah.
Yeah. But because it happened at Alabama,
State of Alabama.
now it's a problem.
Yeah,
Like, oh,
Alabama.
but you know he had a domestic violence at Georgia. You knew that before he got here. Somebody had to admit him to school. Like Nick Saban don't handle admissions.
Yeah.
Somebody had to admit the kid. So yeah, miss me with all that whole craziness. Here's the other thing I wanted to make sure I got to today, and make sure I've got enough time here. Oh yeah, we got like 25 minutes. Good, because I ran into this article today by Patrick Hruby, Hruby. There's a show I watch on HBO called Vice. It is absolutely it's
They come on after
awesome television. After Bill Maher goes on.
After Bill Maher, yeah,
right. He produces the show as well. Vice. It's an absolute. It's outstanding. It's outstanding. I didn't even know that the show actually started on YouTube. Golf told me about that. So you can like look at old episodes of it. But anyway, they have a sports division, as everyone does now, Vice Sports. So I ran into this article earlier on Vice Sports. It says the NCAA scams taxpayers for welfare money. Well, what? NCAA and scam in the same headline? I've got to read this one. I have to read this one. And I did. And as soon as I read it, I was like, now this is the link I've been waiting for. Because you don't have to care about college students not being paid. You know, whatever. It's entertaining. You get to see buzzer beaters during March. You get a playoff system in college football. You get to see Bama and Texas A&M and whomever and Notre Dame or whatever. Who cares? Now, here's the part. Here's that link in the chain that was missing to just the every common, everyday, working class individual. Why it matters. Why the NCAA being a freaking joke should matter to you, me, Rob, everyone. I'll start here with a man named Edward Silva. Okay. Silva, he bought 2 tickets to the Xfinity Center to see Maryland play, right? Now, along with those tickets, he made a $700 donation to the school's Terrapin Club, right? Now, here's where this is where this part. Well, now we start moving into the part that should matter to everyone. Because of the way the NCAA is structured as a nonprofit, already a joke, I know. He was able to deduct 80% from his tax return from that donation. Now, what does that mean? Okay. Now, he says he doesn't know how it works. He just knows that it makes it, quote, but I know my refund gets bigger. This guy's not he's not the problem, because any one of us would do the same thing. If we're able to do it by law, we do it, right? It's not illegal. Okay. Here's where it matters. Because obviously, if tax money is being paid to someone who's making a donation to a college that's based around a nonprofit organization, that's tax money that's coming from people who pay taxes in other places, right? Right. I'm saying it the way I'm saying because I want to make sure I get it right. Okay. 3 years ago, Bloomberg estimated that it costs Washington, D.C. more than $100 million annually for these people who write their stuff off on their taxes. $100 million. You say, okay, what does $100 million equal to? Enough money to fund a year's worth of food stamps for needy military families. Yeah. Now.
Wow.
Yeah. Now we talking about some real shady BS, cuz. You know what I mean? Like, what part? I've been saying this for years. What part of the NCAA is non-profit? Is not for profit?
None of it, as far as I know.
But they get that designation, right? Okay. Moving on to these bowl games and how much federal funding they get. Now, already the bowl game has a name on it, like the Tostitos, whatever, Fiesta Bowl, has a name on it, has all these sponsors behind it. They got ticket sales going on, right? Like, why the hell does the government need to give them even more money? For what? I don't know. Okay. Even though there's no need for these these people to get any more money. They get it anyway. The Sugar Bowl received over $5.4 million in direct federal funding between 2007 and 2009. Between 2001 and 2005, 7 bowls received more than $21.6 million in government aid. For what? For what?
For what? To buy a swag bag?
Yeah. See, now it's all hitting home. See, now it's not just about, Montrezl Harrell getting extra money or Shabazz Napier getting snacks. It ain't about that no more. Now, we starting to figure out it affects us, just regular people.
Yep.
Okay. San Antonio reportedly spent $7.1 million to host the 2008 Final Four, while Houston promised the NCAA $13.6 to hold the same event in 2011, when the association moved from Overland Park, Kansas. Now, if you don't know about Overland Park, Kansas, that is a real Rudy Tooty, part of Kansas. It's where like a lot of the athletes who play for the Chiefs. The reason I know that because I had a buddy who played for the Chiefs, and that's where he lived at. So that's one of the. It's like the Buckhead or the Alpharetta of Georgia, where we live at now. Where the Johns Creek, where the uppity people live, or the well-to-do people. Let me say it that way. Now, they moved the headquarters to Indianapolis in the late 1990s. Now, I want everyone to please listen to this bull. Listen to what they got for moving their headquarters. They reportedly received $25 million in state and local funding. Indianapolis built the NCAA 142,000 square foot headquarters and a 34,000 square foot Hall of Champions, quote unquote, sports museum. They gave the association gratis land and 500 free parking spaces, promised to pick up the tab for landscaping. Yes. And agreed to charge.
Unbelievable.
Listen to this part. And agreed to charge the association $1 per year in rent until 2060. A 50-year agreement that will save the organization an estimated $44.5 million, Rob.
Yeah.
You talk about some crooked ass people. Oh my God. This is the worst thing I've read about the NCAA in a while. And trust me, I go looking for it.
But you know, like a lot of times in situations like that, they have cities to bid on who can pay the most money to bring us to town. Like that happens right here in the state. Like whenever you hear like the Kia Motors plant or Hyundai is moving to Georgia or any of these big companies, like the state of Georgia has basically made an arrangement with them to give them money just to move here.
Right.
So
but here's the difference, Rob. When those companies come here, they have to pay employment tax. They have to pay taxes. The NCAA moves in and everyone is paying them. They charge these dudes $1 for 50 years in rent. They're doing the landscaping. They built them a facility. What?
Yeah.
See, if you do that in the state of Georgia for like Kia as you mentioned, there's a trade-off to it. You know what I mean? You have these people come
go get jobs.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
These people are doing nothing for anybody but taking from the federal government money. And then again, if the federal government if there's $100 million that could be going towards food stamps, but it's going to this private organization, what does that do for your taxes, Rob? For the taxes that we have to pay?
Make them go up.
Exactly.
And because I'm unemployed and getting food stamps, they taking away from my food stamps.
You stupid. Stop putting your business in the street, dog. Stop putting your damn business in the street, man.
I'm just saying.
It makes me uncomfortable.
Hey, boy. Hey, you just don't know, boy. That thing like gold, cuz. Like, man. Like, I met the baddest chick I done met in a long time at Kroger. Because she was like, I mean, she just struck her conversation. She was like, "You be selling yours?" And I was like, "Selling, man." I'm thinking she talking about, some like, do I sell my body or something? I'm like,
of course, you knew she wasn't talking about that.
And she was like, yeah. She was like, I see you got your card right there. I was like, yeah. I said, I don't